Hi, welcome to the 21st and 22nd updates of April 2021. The newsletter will have the following main news. SpaceX evacuates village ahead of major test. SpaceX has issued an evacuation order to local residents of Boca Chica Village in Texas ahead of a major test for its Mars-bound Starship rocket. The Starship SN15 prototype is expected to perform a high-altitude launch this week from SpaceX Starbase complex in Boca Chica, after first completing a static fire test of the craft Raptor engines. An alert notice to residents warned that spaceflight activities would be carried out on April 21st from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., April 22nd, BST. There is a risk that a malfunction of the SpaceX vehicle during these activities will create an overpressure event that can break windows, the letter stated.
Therefore, in order to protect public health and safety, it is recommended that you consider temporarily vacating yourself, other occupants, and pets from the area. At a minimum, you must exit your home or structure and be outside of any building on your property when you hear the police sirens, which will be activated at the time of the space flight activity, to avoid or minimize the risk of injury. SpaceX does not publicize the exact time of its Starship launches, as there are a number of variables that need to line up at the same time for it to take place. These include approval from the Federal Aviation Authority, FAA, local road closures, technical preparations, and favorable weather conditions. Cameron County has issued a temporary closure of public roads surrounding SpaceX Boca Chica base for the same time period stated in the alert notice. Starship SN15 will be the fifth prototype of the next-generation spacecraft to attempt a high-altitude flight test, with all four previous efforts achieving a launch to at least 10 kilometers. Only one of the four, SN10, successfully landed without exploding. However, several minutes after touching down it exploded. Despite the setbacks, SpaceX is pushing forward with preparations to perform the first-ever orbital Starship launch by July. A commercial trip around the moon is scheduled for 2023, while a recently announced $2.89 billion contract with NASA will hopefully see the humans return to the moon aboard a Starship craft in 2024.
SpaceX is expected to launch the Starship SN15 this week, aiming to finally nail the spacecraft launch and landing attempt. But what are the chances of SN15 launching on Friday? SpaceX fans are desperate for a bit of good news after witnessing the next-gen spacecraft crash into the launch pad on 4 occasions. The rocket that could one day fly humans to Mars is being built and tested at breakneck speeds at SpaceX Boca Chica facility in South Texas, but progress has been worrying. And with pressure to perform mounting on Elon Musk company, fans are keeping their fingers crossed SN15 will be the first Starship iteration to survive in one piece. One SpaceX fan said on Twitter, "Really rooting for SN15 this week. It would be so cool to finally see Starship land successfully and be fully recovered." Another person said, "Waiting for the hashtag SN15 launch boom sound and also landing latch sound. Definitely will land." Starship development has been rocky so far, with SpaceX losing the SN8, SN9, SN10, and SN11 prototypes when they failed to land back on the launch pad. According to Mr. Musk, SN15 is more advanced than its predecessors, but will the rocket survive its first test flight? Without a confirmed launch date in sight, SpaceX fans are left in the dark about Starship test flights. There are, however, clues to suggest the rocket could take off before the week is over. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has issued temporary flight restrictions, TFRs, for the airspace around Boca Chica on Friday, April 23rd. The restrictions prevent planes from entering the airspace between 1 p.m. and 2 a.m. BST. The restrictions cite space operations from the surface and up to an unlimited altitude.
The TFR alone, of course, is no guarantee of a Friday launch, and a second TFR has been issued for Saturday. Before the rocket flies, SpaceX will need to carry out a pre-flight static fire. Static fires are a form of wet rehearsal during which Starship fires its Raptor engines, but remains tethered to the ground. Road closures issued for the Boca Chica area on Wednesday suggest the test could go ahead today during one of the 2 time slots. Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino Jr. has ordered closures between 4:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. BST, and then 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. BST. Judge Trevino said, at appropriate intervals, the road will reopen to allow traffic to pass, then reclose for the continuation of space flight activities. During these intermittent road closures, Boca Chica Beach will remain open to the public. However, according to Boca Chica resident and NASA spaceflight member, the first closure was issued for the transportation of a SpaceX crane to the launch site. If all goes according to plan, Starship SN15 will launch to an altitude of at least 32,000 feet, 10 kilometers, after which it will dive back to the ground. SN15 will plummet, belly side down, and will not fire its engines until the very last seconds. The rocket will then tip upright again and try to touch down in one piece. Of the previous 4 Starship models, SN10 came closest to surviving the landing but was damaged in the process. Then, just 8 minutes after landing, the rocket was blown to smithereens when a methane leak ignited. That's all for the information today. If you're excited about the groundbreaking work of SpaceX, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next videos.